Before we begin, we want to make sure that our paper is vertical, which means it's going up and down. When we draw our sun, we're going to do a circle, and then we're going to do lines coming out of it for the rays of sun. An important thing to remember when we're drawing our sun is that we want to make sure we have enough room above the sun so that we can do the other steps. Step 2 says we're going to draw 2 flowers to the left of the sun. When we draw them, we want to make sure that they would reach the bottom of the page so it looks like they're on the ground. Now I chose to do my flowers red. So if you're doing colors, you can do any color you want for the flowers. But for the stems, we want to make sure that they're green because all stems are green. I chose to color in the flower petals, but if you want to leave them blank or you're doing it with just pencil, you do not have to do this step. The third step says to draw grass at the bottom of the page. So I took my green marker, because grass is always green, and I just colored the bottom just like this. Again, if you're just using pencil, you don't have to worry about the color. Now you can leave it blank just how it is, or if you want to, you can always color the grass in. I chose to do this so it would be more colorful. Step 4 says to draw a butterfly above the sun. Another word for above is on top of. If you're using colors, you can choose any color you want to for this step. Try not to make the butterfly too big because we still have another step that we need to do that goes on top of the butterfly. Step 5 says to draw a bumblebee to the right of the sun. Luckily, we learned how to draw a bumblebee last class. The first thing I'm doing is outlining and coloring in the bumblebee's body in yellow. Now I'm taking my black marker and I'm going to outline the bumblebee again, and this time I'm going to add its stripes. I'm also using the black marker to make the wings. If you're using colored pencils, markers, or crayons, you can outline the wings but don't color them in because wings are usually clear. Step 6 says to draw a rainbow at the top of the page. Since there are a lot of colors, we want to make sure we do the lines kind of thin so we have room for all of them. To help you remember the colors of the rainbow, remember Roy G. Biv. The order is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. We don't have indigo, and another word for violet is purple. The very top of the rainbow is red, so I'm going to do a thin little outline of the red, and I'm going to color it in. The next color we're going to use is orange. So I'm going to take my orange marker and I'm going to do another line, very thin, and then I'm going to color it in. If you don't have any markers or crayons or colored pencils, you can just do the lines. The next color in the spectrum is yellow. So I'm going to take my yellow marker and I'm going to do another thin line along the rainbow and color that in. Remember to keep all your lines pretty thin so you have enough room to do all the colors of the rainbow. After I finish coloring the yellow in, I'm going to take my green marker and I'm going to do the same thing. Notice how I picked my hand up and moved my hand over so I can see where the rainbow is. That way it's nice and even. We're going to continue this process, and we're going to take the blue marker now, and we're going to do the same thing. Normally, in a rainbow, there's the color indigo, but I don't have an indigo color, which is usually a really dark blue. So I'm going to skip that, and I'm going to go to violet. And another word for violet is purple. After my whole rainbow is colored in, I'm taking my black marker, or you could use a pencil, and I'm drawing clouds at the bottom. That way it looks a little bit more complete. Now that we're finished with our rainbow, step 7 says we're going to draw an umbrella on the grass. To draw the umbrella, I'm doing a half circle, and then I'm going to go from the end and swoop down and up until I reach the other side of the semicircle. Now you can leave it just like that, or you could do what I'm doing, which I'm making lines in the umbrella so that I can just make it a little bit more colorful. And of course, I'm going to draw the pole that goes straight down to the grass. Now you can keep it just like that if you want to, or if you have crayons or markers, you can color it in. Notice how I'm doing every other space, so that way it looks different. I used orange for some and yellow for another, but you can do any color you want. For the pole, I did mine brown, because usually a lot of the poles are wood. Our last and final step is to write our name and today's date on the bottom. Now our final project is complete.